no hope of actually clearing it because I used to get a lot of advices from here and there, and also from my friends who had cleared IELTS. So I was just basically on my own doing all my IELTS prep, but then I was really lost within it. So one mistake I would like to talk about in writing is I used to write down all the points. So one mistake that I used to do when actually Sir guided me, it was that.
Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to you uh, on this podcast. This is 𝐒𝐄𝐈𝐀𝐋, an IELTS expert from PW IELTS and TOEFL Prep. We have successfully delivered many success stories, I should say. You name it 8.5, 8, 7.5, or 7, and we have it. Today, one of them, our very important success story with us is Misbah Fatima. She's from Bangalore and she has recently appeared in the IELTS test and has made 7 scores out of 9. Over to you, Misbah. Please introduce yourself and tell us that why did you take IELTS and when are you moving abroad?
Hello everyone, my name is Misbah and I've given my exam a month back. So I am really happy with my results, as initially when I was struggling I had no hope of actually clearing it because I used to get a lot of advices from here and there, and also from my friends who had cleared IELTS. So I was just basically on my own doing all my IELTS prep, but then I was really lost within it. So one day I decided to join Physics Wala IELTS, and I didn't even realize how that journey just ended. And then I received an amazing score. So I just want to say that the journey was worth the experience. And yes, my college starts from month of January, and I had very well cleared my IELTS exam uh, very back of time. So I feel that this is really a great experience, and I would really love to recommend everyone to join Physics One IELTS.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much for that, Misbah. Uh, Coming to your preparation strategy and time management, if we talk about, it is often observed that students are not really able to manage their time effectively as far as preparation is concerned. How much time did you specifically give to each module in your day so that you could reach this perfect score?
So initially, I feel that many students what they do is they just jump into try out all, like they just jump and study all the modules together. So initially, what I did was I gave it a try for each and every module. I tried writing, listening, and all the 4 modules. I recognized where I was really weak at, and I started spending more time in that instead of practicing and making the module really perfect, which I am already really good at. So I was really weak in writing. So I gave it a good 5 hours every day, not altogether, but one in the morning and in the evening. So once I mastered writing, and then I moved to the speaking, which was my second weak point. And in speaking also, I used to do that every day. Speaking is not something that will just come if you just practice for 2 days or just for one week. Of course, in one week you will have great improvement, but I feel writing and speaking, if you really improve in that, then listening and your reading can very well, you can manage that really well. And
Right,
for
right.
listening and reading, I practiced all the physics wala modules, which was very well. It was really enough for me to master all those minute topics.
Great. That's great. As far as the preparation strategy is concerned, Misbah, what was your personal strategy to overcome the module fear and overcome the all anxiety which you had on about speaking, about writing, and everything?
Writing, first I recognized where I was like really weak at. So when I was in band six student in writing, I used to first jot down all the mistakes what I did. So when I used to send all my written essays to you, and then he used to send me all the feedbacks, and I used to work at it. So I used to maintain a book. It was called a mistake book. So wherever I was lacking and what and all, I thought that I wasn't really good at, I used to write that down. And whenever I used to write my next essay, when I used to attempt the next essay, I used to look at that book and then frame my essay. So slowly I improved my band from 5.5 to 6 to 6.5. So one mistake I would like to talk about in writing is when I was a band six student for writing, I used to write down all the points. For instance, if you talk about opinion-led essays, or even where they ask us, what is the cause for this, and how would you like to prevent it? So one mistake that I used to do when actually Sir guided me, it was that I used to write down, for instance, if I used to write down 5 opinions, and I have to justify each and every sentence. I never did that. I used to write 5 causes, and then I just used to explain two, which often got me a band six. So when I really contacted with you, sir, I got to know that I have to justify my essay really well, and I have to write down the points for how to prevent it. Like if I'm giving 5 causes, I need to also give the 5 prevention ideas. So instead of writing or just like filling it all the essays, I thought of it's okay even if I write 2 points, I have to justify all those 2 points. So that is how I personally improved in writing.
That's great. I am so sure that you must have done that because I could see the improvement in your writing when I was checking and you
Yes.
were continuously working on the feedback. I still remember that you were quite anxious about your speaking module because you thought that you don't have enough ideas, you will not be able to elaborate your answers in the discussion part. So, what helped you there, and how did you navigate your ways and you could reach that score of speaking?
So initially, when we were going on with our course, the official course, at that time, I used to slowly improve and used to send all the speaking answers to you, sir. But then, which the personal assistance which was offered after the course for me really helped me boost even more. So when I used to have those one-on-one sessions, I really liked that because I used to get a lot of feedbacks when um, as you could just listen to me in a one-on-one session. So you used to provide me with enough feedback for everything I used to say, whether it was part one, part two, part three. And then eventually I upgraded from a band 6 to band 7.5 in speaking, which was like a huge leap, like a huge success for me, in especially in speaking. So
Correct, correct, correct. So, struggles are a part of life, Misbah, right? So, when it comes to preparing for a test, they become quite evident. At times, it can be really very overbearing, and we have to deal with them. So, what was your strategy to deal with the stress, and how did you cope with that anxiety and nervousness for the exam?
anxiety initially, when I was in the first week of the course, I used to feel very anxious. Like I didn't know what to do, and I was like whether I'll be able to clear it or not. But then later on, when I used to contact to you via email, and when I used to ask all those doubts, I had that thing. I gained confidence because I felt that I have a supporting hand next to me. Like no matter what happens, I do have a support, and that way I was really confident because I knew it that even if I'm going wrong somewhere, I will definitely have a very good feedback upon which I can improve really well. And anxiety is definitely a part of it, but a person needs to be really confident in itself and really confident in what the teacher has taught it, like taught him or her, and that's all. We just have to be really confident.
Right, right, right. Very good. I would ask you one thing that which was the most difficult module for you?
The most difficult part was yes, when it was really weak in writing. So when I had already mastered all the three modules, which was listening, reading, and speaking, I was really anxious about whether I'll be able to get a really good score in writing, and I was like really anxious. But then I gave it a lot of time. It doesn't happen overnight or just within 2 or 3 days. So I really did a lot of research on how to do it, and I really and the personal assistance really helped me. So that is how I overcame the fear of writing and everything. So I feel that was the most difficult part of my journey.
Right, right. And I'm sure that you must have some favorite module as well. Which module was that?
The most interesting were actually the writing modules itself, because the questions had really complex ideas, and also it was a variety of questions. So it involves someone really deep into that, and then it makes their thinking even more better. Like it makes that student have his or her view really clear because of the toughness level. And basically the model was very well balanced. It had all those questions from easy to hard. So it really showed us what a question can be, whether if we get a really easy question in the exam, how to deal with it, a medium question, how to deal with it, and so I
Right.
feel the writing one was really good. And the
Okay.
rest three also, I would say, especially the listening and reading ones, those were like really interesting because those were short, crisp, and it was also really good and fun. So I really loved those.
Nice, nice, nice. That's great. So many of the students are going to appear in the next few weeks for their exam. What tips and strategies would you like to share, Ms. Bafu, to them so that they can nail their preparation game?
One thing I would say is a day before the exam, I wouldn't recommend them to do various tests, whether it is listening. So I don't want the student to give 5 practice tests or 10 practice tests of any module. I would just recommend them to just go through the points where they were lacking, and so that they can just revise instead of doing many tests and loading the self. And even on the test day, I would recommend them to just calm down and like not to study anything, especially on the day, because when I was at the center, I met many students who were giving their second and third trial again, and I got a lot of experience even from them. So this personally, I am telling as a point of view from their self. So I would really recommend them to just calm down. The test is going to be really easy for them. So if they are really calm and confident, I feel they can definitely nail it.
Great, great, great. Specifically, if you talk about writing, this, I've seen your journey. You have traveled that 6 band course to now 7 band in the writing. What tips and strategies would you like to share as far as writing module is concerned?
Writing module, I would say, first of all, um, they shouldn't lose their hope if they are getting a very low band score. It shouldn't be like, I'm not going to study writing. I'm just going to focus on the other 3 modules. I I would recommend to sit down and actually go through the feedback which they are going to get from their faculty, which is from their teachers, and really work on it. Because without looking at the feedback, I couldn't improve. So I just sat down and I worked really hard just for writing. So one thing I can do is they can compare the band 6 and band 8 essay, or even for the part 1 or part 2, they can definitely see. And also, Physics Wala has also given many sample videos and also explained it in detail on the YouTube channel also. So I really even visited the YouTube channel and also focus on the feedback, and that helped me really widen my view, and
Hmm.
that is how I improved my writing scores.
That's great. That's great. So there are many students who do not get their scores, desired scores in the first attempt. They do get their scores in the rest of the modules, but writing becomes a challenge. For those who are appearing or maybe reappearing for the exam just because they did not get the desired band scores in the writing, for the people who are reappearing, what would be your suggestion?
Um, all I could say is, especially for writing, they need to work on their vocabulary, because sometimes even the simple vocabulary which we use in everyday life, it could also be helpful. But just to improve their writing skills, there is specially assigned marks and values for, example, for lexical resource and vocabulary point of view. So one thing they can do is they can memorize 10 words or maybe just 5 words a day, and they could not just memorizing the words, they can make their own sentence and understand what that word means. So that is personally, that was my first step of improving in writing. So, and they can try inculcating that and putting that into the essay, and they can see how it actually works. And then second of all is they can read novels, and they can just read any fiction book like that. So
Correct, correct, correct. Coming to an end, my last question to you would be, Miss Pat, that since you were very anxious in the initial stages and then you anyhow made it up and you were gaining that confidence and not just gaining, you were retaining that confidence in yourself. So, what tips would you like to give to the students to work on their enthusiasm and that confidence which they should have before the going takes up?
one thing is, they really they really don't have to be really worried or anxious about this, because they need to remember that they do have a really helping hand and a supporting hand next to them. And all they can do is they can just casually, especially for speaking, I find many of them have problem in speaking and writing, as I myself had problem. So they can talk to themselves into the mirror and they can just relax, and they could just read books. And someone who is a bibliophile, they can just read their books, and they can calm themselves down, and they can also improve their vocabulary that way. And yeah, that's what I would like to say about getting anxious, because and yeah, they can also talk to their mentors a day before, and they are really like, they really calmed my stress down. So I was really good to go for my main exam day.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. So it was really wonderful talking to you, Miswa, and thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights. I'm sure that whatever you have talked about, it is going to really help someone someday. So again, I wish you all the success in your life. God bless you. Keep learning. Take care.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your support.